Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video we talk about everything that has to do with Canada. I live in Alberta, Canada. In this video I'm going to be sharing with you how you can transit from an international student to becoming a permanent resident in Canada. So if you are an international student already in Canada and are looking at how does the process work of becoming a permanent resident, this video is for you. And if you're a prospective student planning to come to Canada, this video is even more important for you because you're going to learn some of the choices you need to make in order not to jeopardize the possibility of you becoming a permanent resident in the future. Are you ready? Let's get started. Number one thing you need to know is that before you can apply there are a couple of steps. Of course you must have studied in Canada for at least 1 year. Now if you are planning to study in Canada and I'm just trying to backdate now before you come to Canada. If you are going to apply for a school, make sure you check, is this program eligible for a post-graduation work permit? Number one. And number two, is this institute a DLI, a designated learning institute? Because if it's not a DLI institute, you can't get a post-graduation work permit. And if you don't get a post-graduation work permit, it will be very difficult for you to get a permanent residency. Okay, so make sure you check that the school or the college is a DLI institute, and the program, the type of program, is a full-time or is it online or hybrid, as the case may be. Just check. Number one thing, is it eligible for permanent residency, so that when you finish your school, you can then apply to get a post-graduation work permit. So if you studied a 1-year course, you'll be eligible for a 1-year post-graduation work permit. If you studied 2 years or more course, you'll be eligible for a 3 years post-graduation work permit. So make sure you check the university or the college that you are. I did a video previously on the colleges you shouldn't apply for that are not DLI institute or college, so that you don't waste your time. Okay, so make sure you maintain your status all through that time of being a student. You are studying full-time, and then when you graduate, you apply for the post-graduation work permit. Now this is very, very important. Okay, it is not all jobs that are eligible for you to use those kind of jobs to apply for the express entry, especially if you want to apply for what is called the Canadian Experience Class or the CEC. So the Canadian Experience Class is different from the Federal Skilled Worker, in the sense that you need to have worked in Canada for at least 1 year to be eligible for the Canada Experience Class. But for the Federal Skilled Worker, even though you've never been to Canada, you can actually apply for that, which is also very good. So make sure when you're planning to get a job, it has to be a job that is in a certain category, a NOC 0A or B job. That is what you should be targeting, especially if you graduated from a Canadian institution, so that you can use that to now apply. You need to work for that at least 1 year. So if you get a NOC C jobs, if you just check the Canadian website, you can do that research. Just check NOC jobs and then see the jobs that are under A or B, and then see the ones that are under C, so that you can pick up that for maybe 1 or 2 months just to get yourself settled down. But make sure you immediately start looking for a NOC A, 0O or 0A and B job, so that you can use that one to apply. So you need to work in that particular job for at least 1 year. Okay, you need to work for that job for at least 1 year. It can be full-time, and then if it is part-time, of course it has to be, I think, 1,500 and something hours, which is the equivalent to like 1 year of full-time working. So if you work for 2 years part-time in still that NOC 0A or B job, as far as it's up to 1,500 and something hours, is also eligible for you to apply for the permanent residency through the Canadian Experience Class. Okay, now that is the first option. And then to do this Canadian Express class, you need to write the English proficiency test. You can either write the IELTS exam, or you write the CLB, sorry, not CLB, sorry, you write the CELPIP exam. For those in Canada, CELPIP is a good option because some of them use Canadian accent as compared to the IELTS, but it depends. Just write the one that you are most comfortable with, okay? And then when you've done that, the requirements are a little bit different from the federal skilled worker and this. I think if you're applying for the Canadian Experience class, it's around 5 or 5 or 6, like depends on the type of job that you get. You can please confirm that CLB, because things are always changing, but it's usually lower compared to what is required for the federal skilled worker program. So around 5 should technically be fine for if you are working in A and B jobs, okay? Write your English test. Now, the good thing about this is that you don't need, if you have a Canadian degree, you don't need to do the Educational Credential Assessment, which is ECA. You just need to show your Canadian certificate, okay? It is only when and now, if you done, let's say, bachelor's in your home country and you did master's in Canada, that becomes your highest degree. So you don't necessarily have to start going to do your credential assessment for your bachelor's. No, your highest degree, if you do your PhD in Canada, then that becomes your highest certificate, right? And you don't need to do any educational credential assessment for that. So that's also some money saved in your pocket. And then that is one way to work for 1 year, apply for the Canadian Experience class. There is also an alternative, okay, which I think not a lot of people know this, and not a lot of people know this option. It's still the express entry route, okay? But you can actually apply for the Federal Skilled Worker Program while in Canada, okay? So basically, when you have a Canadian degree, it's going to add to your Federal Skilled Worker Program, which means that if you even finish your master's or your PhD, and then you just open your profile, when you open your profile and fill in the form, you're going to see that with Canadian degree you are having more points. And then just check what your score is with just a Canadian degree added to your previous point and see where you are at. If you are more than the cutoff, you don't even need to wait for 1 year. That is the thing. You don't need to wait for, once you have your certificate, you have your English test done, you don't need to wait for 1 year. But if you want to enter that express entry profile, that federal skilled worker route, even though it's schooled in Canada, you need to do the English test need to be at least band 7, because now you are coming in through the express entry route. But like I mentioned, if you want to do the Canadian 1 year, the Canadian experience class, you just need that CLB of 5 or so, but you need to work for at least 1 year, okay? Then for the express entry route, where you apply for the federal skilled worker while in Canada after studying, is that when you get a job offer, okay, when you get a job offer, that is also another point, which means just getting a job offer and finishing up your Canadian degree, if you add both of those ones to your federal skilled worker profile, is going to shoot up your points. So you're going to make your point to increase a lot. So which means you don't need to work for again 1 year, but you need to get CLB of 7, okay? Because you're not doing the express entry route. And then if you have a job offer, you don't have to show proof of funds if you have a valid job offer in Canada, okay? It is when you just finish your study and you have your Canadian certificate and you want to apply for the federal skilled worker. Of course, you need to still show that you have the proof of the funds that are needed to study, okay? Now, another option is that when you get a job offer and after completing your Canadian education and you get a job offer, you can do what is called express entry under the province. So what it means is that let's say I'm in Alberta, for example. Alberta can go into the express entry profile and see who have indicated that they want to come to Alberta. They see, because when you're filling profile, they ask you which province would you like to settle, right? So when you put in Alberta, They was like, okay, they are going to screen those that are interested in coming to Alberta. And if you finish from an Alberta, from a Canadian institution, and you're in Alberta, that is already an added advantage, okay? And then secondly, if you have a job offer from an Alberta employer, that is another job offer. That is another point, which means that Alberta can now say, oh, we like this candidate. They will now give you what is called nomination of interest, NOI, that we are interested in you. Okay, when you accept, maybe within 2 weeks, you send in your application for provincial nomination. When the province nominates you under that express entry category, you have additional 600 points, which means that automatically, when the next draw comes in, boom, you are going to be invited for sure. Okay, but this is not compulsory. This is not compulsory. You can just do the federal skilled worker, and you don't necessarily have to do the provincial nomination, right? So you can do the express entry, the federal skilled worker directly. But if your province also nominates you, that is also a fantastic, because it's also like a quicker way to make sure that you get invited to apply. Okay, when the province gives you nomination of interest, you have about 2 weeks to submit a provincial nomination. You submit your provincial nomination, and after, maybe it depends on the province, they process it, and then they now give you provincial nomination. You go back to your profile, update your profile that now a province have nominated you. That way you will now be able to apply for your permanent residency. So in summary, I would say there are different options through which you can get your permanent residency. And the third option, which I haven't mentioned, is that as an international student, if you're working in a province, if you get a M.Sc job, and you are not qualified to apply for the Canadian Experience class, you can apply for the provincial nomination. Okay, the provincial nomination. This is, like in Alberta, if you have a M.Sc job, you work in that for 1 year, you can get provincial nomination. But this is not under the express entry category, which means that you don't need an express entry profile. But the only downside of this is that it takes a bit of time. Okay, it takes a bit of time, more than a year for processing, as compared to the express entry that usually take around 6 months for them to process. Okay, I hope this video helped you. If you're planning to immigrate to Canada and then you're planning to apply for the permanent residency, this is a fantastic opportunity for you to get your permanent residency. If you have any question, if there is anything that I have not addressed in this video, do well to leave a comment in the comment section, and I will try to address the question whenever I can, so that I'll make sure I respond so that you can get answers to all your questions. If you found this video useful, do it to hit the subscribe button, like this video, share with your friends, and then so that whenever new videos are released, you'll be the first person to get notified. I will say once again, thank you for watching my video, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.